I hope you beautiful lot. My name's Jason, and this is my 80s podcast. You put the boom boom into my heart. Right, here comes the intro. Oh, well, that was quick. This is what I'm playing. Right, welcome back. Take a good look at this. Right, you beautiful lot. 40 years of Live Aid. So, this is the start of my podcast a day, 10-minute podcast chat with loads of different people about what 40 years of Live Aid means to them. Did they watch it? Did they go? What was it about it? What did they like about it? And what were they doing when they was watching it? Where were they? All the stuff that, you know what I mean? I know what it was like to be there, and I absolutely blew my mind. But I thought I would love to do loads of different podcasts, one a day, all the way up to the 13th of July, was when it's their 40-year anniversary. And this is what we got, and it's absolutely brilliant. Please take a look and a listen. So what I'm going to do, we're going to talk about, so I'm going to ask you, this is going to be a short one, because it's only going to be, because I'm going to put loads of these out through, obviously Live Aid, 40 years this year. Yeah. I don't know where that I have no idea where that time's got me, to be honest.
1985.
Yeah. It was 13th of July, so obviously, So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and get 12 little tiny 10 and just put an episode out a day all the way up to the 13th. So what I was going, what can you remember about Live Aid, and apart from the obvious, what was your favourite moment? Because for me, there was loads of favourite moments, but obviously, when I always say that to people, the first thing they say is Queen, and I get that because it was. Yeah. But is there any other moments that you on there and just thought, do you know what?
There's two. Obviously, I did like Status Quo.
Oh, see, they opened it, didn't they? They opened it.
And then you had Phil Collins done a gig there, and then he flew to Philadelphia. And done the American one on the same day on Concord.
Yeah, there's no Concord now, is there? But I remember that, and I always remember as well. Because they were trying to do, weren't the Mick Jagger and David Bowie were going to try and do their song, but I think something went wrong with the satellite, so they couldn't do it. But that's what I remember, and I remember Status Quo because obviously you sat there watching it, and it was like the weather was just something else, wasn't it, at the time then?
Amazing day. But it's not till you get older that you appreciate the stars like the Queens and that. Because for me, I mean, obviously I was a massive Jackson fan, but Queen at Live Aid was probably one of the best live performances ever. The way he worked the crowd.
Yeah. And I'm a bit like that. So I always say that it's like I don't feel that I appreciated it at the time. No. I mean, my dad was a massive Queen fan, so we always had Queen in the house, my mum used to like Motown, so we used to listen to Motown. But I remember my dad was absolutely he was a massive fan of Queen. And I remember that sitting us down to watch all that. But I think as much as I enjoyed it, but I think at the time I loved it. But I think, like you said, as you get older, you don't appreciate anything until you actually get older and just think these stars are like amazing.
Just veering off the Live Aid thing, I remember watching Motown 25 with my dad. Michael Jackson moonwalked the first time. My dad cried.
Yeah. But that gets to show what that impact that, you know what I mean?
Kate, what the fuck? Kate was born in 1980.
No, I know.
Not in what?
87.
I've been at work.
Oh, bless. But do you know what I always remember about what I always think about Live Aid as well? I remember, because for me, it was the first time I'd ever seen Madonna.
Yes, yeah.
Do you know, like 80s Madonna? Because I mean, I loved her going into the other decades, but for me, 80s Madonna was just because she was unique at the time, wasn't she? That you would not. I mean, I know we got Cyndi Lauper and
Yeah.
but I think for me it was Madonna, and I remember Status Quo was a big one for me. I always remember them coming out, and I always remember watching because didn't George Michael sing with
Aretha Franklin.
Elton? Was it Elton?
John.
Did he sing with that? I'm sure he sang. Am I getting that wrong? Someone will tell me if I get that wrong. I'm sure we sang Don't Let the Sun Go Down. I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure we did. Someone's going to say, Jay, no, we didn't. But then it's like the end bit of that as well, isn't it? When they got the whole crowd going because they had like every. And I just think when you watch that now, you just think, look at all them amazing, talented human beings. And you just think, you ever. I don't care what anyone says, you won't get that sort of talent again. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that people are not talented now, but for me, they were just, I mean, they were all unique and they're all different as well, weren't they? They weren't the samey, because I always think a lot of stuff nowadays is very samey. But I think with Live Aid, it was one of those things. It was red hot. It was everyone. I would love to have gone, you know. I've had the horses. I would love to have gone.
13. I was 13. Come out 14.
Yeah, see, I was as well, because I was born in 71, the same as you. So you know what I mean? As much as I would love to have gone, I just think I was probably that little bit too young to. I'm surprised, to be honest, Scott. I'm surprised my dad didn't go, because he was a massive Queen fan. Then when you watch the crowd there, I mean, it was nothing like that. I'd have probably got lost in there somewhere if I'd been in that crowd. Because it was, when you watch it now, and especially when they're on stage, especially more in a bit later on, like when Queen came on, you can see the vast amount of people that were there. Compared to, you know what I mean? I'm not saying some of the other concerts done. I mean, Glastonbury is probably a bit the same, but I just think, God, I should have gone. My dad should have took me.
Yeah. It's one of them.
But you wouldn't.
One of them times where you just had to be there. Do you know what I mean? You had to be there.
Yeah, and I always think, I know you can watch it now. I know you can watch Live Aid now, but I just think when we watched it, because when we watched it, it was literally live, wasn't it? When you watched it at home, for the first time, and I just think. And I always love the fact when people say, I've just watched Live Aid for the first time. I think, God, I would love that feeling again. That's never, you've never watched it. And the first time you ever see it, because I think they're releasing, I'm sure someone said they're releasing the anniversary, aren't they? I know it's out now, but I think they're digitalizing it, whatever it's called. I think like HD, whatever was it 4K or something. I think they're going to, but then to be honest, I quite like the grainy bit of the older stuff, but I suppose they do it, don't they, for it to be, for people want to see it a bit more clearer. So, but brilliant.
When I first saw Jackson in Wembley in '88, you know, it wasn't all like, it was quite old school kind of graphics and that. It wasn't until his Dangerous tour where things like that changed. Do you know what I mean? We come jumping on the floor and that. Do you know what I mean? But it's good times, good old days, man.
Michael Jackson. You know, I'd never got to see Michael Jackson, but I wish I'd have. I can imagine him to be amazing, because he was an amazing entertainer anyway. You know what I mean? I don't care what anyone says. He was absolutely amazing at what he did. He was, you know what I mean? He like you said, he's people. Even now, you got people like Justin Timberlake doing the moonwalk, haven't you? When you know what I mean? That all those people copied him. So it just goes to show how relevant he was at that time and how he is now, because people are still copying it.
You see kids on TikTok now that are doing dances that weren't even alive when he died. You know?
It's true though, ain't it?
I know. That's how.
And you just think, but that goes to show, doesn't it? That goes to show how people even now still admire him, and how you know what I mean? If you, like you said, if you've got people doing it now that probably ain't got a clue who the hell. I mean, I don't think anyone would not know who he is.
No,
you know what I mean?
He's probably one of the most famous people ever.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I think they all. I think we'll have. I mean, you got people like, you got him, you got Madonna, you got people like Elvis, you got, you know, I mean, they're all going to be. I mean, Elvis is still like, you know what I mean? Even though he's been gone for, you know what I mean, how long? People still remember them, don't they?
Yeah, and there's not really many icons left now. Another 10, 15
No.
years, they're all gone, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah. That's what I always say. It's like Whitney's gone now, isn't it? You got rid of all them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As much as you know what I mean. But yeah, it's
Prince
damn
gone.
shame.
Prince, still got like Stevie Wonder. You know,
Stevie Wonder's great. I do love Stevie Wonder.
Yeah. You know, still a few of them about, but they're all getting on. They're all getting on.
Yeah,
mate.
yeah. That's what they're all getting on. Jesus Christ! I kept thinking. Because when I kept thinking, how am I turning 54 this year? Surely there's. I said to my mum, "Are you sure I weren't born a bit later, a bit earlier, a bit later?" She went, "No, he was born in 71."
Right.
Well, I'm going to let you go. Thanks ever so much for that, Scott.
You're welcome,
And I will
mate.
speak. Thanks ever so much, and I'll speak to you soon, mate.
Yeah,
you take care. See you later, brother.
Yeah, bye. Bye, mate.
How brilliant was that? How amazing was that? Do you know what? This is why I love doing my 80s podcast, because I get to have some amazing guests on and then just be able to do some great 80s stuff on my own as well. And I just absolutely blows my mind. So please, if you want to follow me, Instagram, TikTok, it's not Twitter, I keep saying Twitter, X, Facebook, YouTube. Follow me on YouTube for some great episodes, on Spotify, an audio version go onto Apple as well. And please have a great day, you beautiful lot. Y'all come back now. You hear?